plant or a beast or a bird or something like that, because there are so many species of life. The recommendation of Rūpa Gosvāmī for reviving our original Krishna consciousness is that somehow or other we should apply our minds to Krishna very seriously, and thus also become fearless of death. After death, we do not know our destination because we are completely under the control of the laws of nature. Only Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the controller over the laws of nature. Therefore, if we take shelter of Krishna seriously, there will be no fear of being thrown back into the cycle of so many species of life. A sincere devotee will surely be transferred to the abode of Krishna, as affirmed in Bhagavad Gita. In the Padma Purana also, the same process is advised. There it is said that one should always remember Lord Vishnu. This is called dhyana, or meditation, always remembering Krishna. It is said that one has to meditate with his mind fixed upon Vishnu. Padma Purana recommends that one always fix his mind on the form of Vishnu by meditation, and not forget him at any moment. And this state of consciousness is called samadhi, or trance. We should always try to mold the activities of our lives in such a way that we will constantly remember Vishnu, or Krishna. That is Krishna consciousness. Whether one concentrates his mind on the four-handed form of Vishnu or on the form of two-handed Krishna, it is the same. The Padma Purana recommends somehow or other always think of Vishnu without forgetting him under any circumstances. Actually, this is the most basic of all regulative principles. For when there is an order from a superior about doing something, there is simultaneously a prohibition. When the order is that one should always remember Krishna, the prohibition is that one should never forget him. Within this simple order and prohibition, all regulative principles are found complete. This regulative principle is applicable to all varnas and ashrams, the castes and occupations of life. There are 4 varnas, namely the brahmanas, priests and intellectuals, the kshatriyas, warriors and statesmen, the vaishyas, businessmen and farmers, and the shudras, laborers and servants. There are also 4 standard ashrams, namely brahmacharya. Regulative principles are not only for the brahmacharis, celibate students. The principle of remembering the Supreme Personality of Godhead constantly and forget automatically fall into line. All other rules and regulations should be of Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th chapter, verses 2 and 3. The brahmanas, the kshatriyas, the vaishyas, and the shudras have come out of the different parts of the universal form of the Supreme Lord as follows. The brahmanas have come out of the head, the kshatriyas have come out of the arms, the vaishyas have come out of the waist, and the shudras have come out of the legs. These different orders of society and grades of spiritual advancement are conceived in terms of qualification. It is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita that the 4 social orders and the 4 spiritual orders are created by the Lord himself in terms of different individual qualities and position. The target of these activities, however, is always the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, he is the supreme enjoyer. So whether one is a brahmana or a shudra, one has to satisfy the Supreme Lord by one's activities. This is also confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam by a verse which reads, "Everyone must be engaged in his particular duty, but the perfection of such work should be tested by how far the Lord is satisfied with such activities." The injunction herein is that one has to act according to his position, and By such activities one must either satisfy the Supreme Personality or else fall down from one's position. For example, a Brahmana, who is born out of the head of the Lord, has as his business to preach the transcendental Vedic sounds, or Shabda Brahma. Because the Brahmana is the head, he has to preach the transcendental sound, and he also has to eat on behalf of the Supreme Lord. According to Vedic injunctions, when a Brahmana eats, it is to be understood that the personality of Godhead is eating through him. It is not, however, that the Brahmana should simply eat on behalf of the Lord and not preach the message of Bhagavad Gita to the world. Actually, one who preaches the message of the Gita is very dear to Krishna, as is confirmed in the Gita itself. Such a preacher is factually a Brahmana, and thus by feeding him, one feeds the Supreme Lord directly. Similarly, a Kshatriya has to protect people from the onslaughts of Maya. That is his duty. For example, as soon as Maharaj Parikshit saw that a black man was attempting to kill a cow, he immediately took his sword, wanting to kill the black man whose name was Kali. That is a Kshatriya's duty. Violence is required in order to give protection. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna directly gave his order to Arjuna to commit violence on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, just to give protection to the people in general. The Vaishyas are meant for producing agricultural products, trading them and distributing them. And the working class, or Shudras, are those who haven't the intelligence of the Brahmanas or Kshatriyas or Vaishyas, and therefore they are meant to help these higher classes by bodily labor. In this way there is full cooperation and spiritual advancement among all the different orders of society, and when there is no such cooperation, the members of society will fall down. That is the present position in the Kali Yuga, this age of quarrel. Nobody is doing his duty, but actually such people are without status. They are out of touch with the Supreme Personality of Godhead because they are not Krishna conscious. Therefore, the Krishna consciousness movement is intended to set the whole of human society in proper condition so that everyone will be happy and take profit from developing Krishna consciousness. Rules and regulations of the scriptures are there so that everyone will have a chance to remember Lord Krishna or Vishnu at every moment. And these rules and regulations begin from the Varnashram Dharma system. Varna means occupational duty, and ashram means a spiritual order of life. The modes of material nature in which their bodies appear. Brahma. So in any society, the Shudras will dominate politics and administration, or Kshatriyas and Vaishyas. So these more intelligent people, whole society becomes nothing but animals, Shudras, or less. And this is the position today. Everywhere you go, nobody is remembering God. Everyone is simply engaged in animal activities, eating, drinking, sleeping, mating, fighting, arguing, like that. A God-conscious society, where the center is on God. Everyone is remembering God at every moment. That's the principle, the main principle of Vedic society. Everyone should be engaged in such a way that they remember God at every moment. Now, most modern people will not agree to that. Therefore, when species in the 8,400,000 species of life to perform in this life, then in the next life he automatically picks up. And that means, as he explains in this chapter, that service itself is eternal. So whatever we can do is exactly where we left off. So all these regulative principles are there. The division of society, as he's discussing here, is the beginning of the regulative principles. And those principles are there just to help everyone remember Krishna. That's the point. You are. Although people pervert it into that, that's not the actual purpose. The actual purpose is simply to remember Krishna every moment and not forget Krishna. So to continue, Lord Sri Krishna instructed Uddhava that by following satisfaction, the whole society gets all the necessities of life amply and without difficulty. This is because, after all, the Supreme Personality of Godhead maintains all other living entities. If the whole society performs its respective duties and remains in Krishna consciousness, a spiritual abode, even without being transferred to the kingdom of God, by following the injunctions of Srimad Bhagavatam and prosecuting the duties of Krishna consciousness, all human society will be